Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today I have Ashley Fox on the show. She's going to give her testimony about growing up as a child. Get you something to drink, get you a snack, and come on back. I guess I should say good late afternoon, almost evening, Ashley.
Yes, absolutely.
I was just sitting there. I came home from work and I ended up getting a call from the big boss. I ain't gonna say her name. You know what I'm talking about. The big.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I was like, okay, let me take care of this right quick so I could just jump on this. I ain't tell her what I had going on, but I'm just like, oh, this won't take long. So why don't we just start by you introducing yourself and we'll go from there.
Okay. My name is Ashley, and I am a housing coordinator and also work for Placer County. I am 42. I'm not afraid to say my age, because I feel like I've earned every day of that, definitely, for sure. I have three adult children, and I'm an Army veteran.
So let me say this, you do not look your age at all, to be
Thank
honest
you.
with you. Zero
Yeah.
at all. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Aging well. Ashley, so are you from the Sacramento area? Where are you from?
I'm from Nevada County. I was born in Grass Valley and raised there majority of my life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so what brought you down this way to the Placer County area?
When I got out of the military in 2009, I went back to Nevada County briefly and just gradually worked my way Auburn down into Roseville. I've
Okay.
lived all around Sacramento, so down in Vacaville and back to Placer County, but this is primarily where I call home now is Roseville.
Oh, okay. All right. So siblings, you have any siblings? Your only child? Talk a little bit about that.
Um, I have my parents have been remarried multiple times.
Okay.
And so I've obtained siblings.
Okay.
I don't have any full blood siblings. I have a brother and sister that are my mom's, and then the rest. So I have um five brothers and four sisters.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And you grew up, so when you was born and raised in the Grass Valley area.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
My sister is 10 years older than me, and then I have a brother that's 6 years older than me, and then myself. So my sister was right at that age where she really was a secondary mom to me, and even to this day, um, we fight like sisters, but ultimately, I really value her opinion, more of as a mother figure.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your upbringing. What was it like for you growing up with your family and in the area of Grass Valley?
So my parents were very involved. My mom drank a lot when I was a child. I there was always this feeling of misplacement. Um, My brother used to joke when I was really young, when he'd get mad at me and tell me I was adopted, tell me I didn't belong. I didn't and I don't look just like my brother and sister who share the same mother and father. So he just always made me feel misplaced. Um, I mean, I played Pop Warner cheerleading, I was involved in gymnastics, I did piano lessons for almost 14 years. I was spoiled, like given all of those things.
Yeah.
But much later, when I was around 10 and 11, it was almost like those were things for me to do to stay out of the home.
Right.
My parents had all their own things going on. My dad was very involved with work and my brother's football, and my mom was just she was busy,
Yeah.
and when she wasn't busy, she was uninterested.
Yeah.
So, I would go from, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday I had cheer, Tuesday I had piano, Friday I had a game. I just was consistently going.
Yeah.
Um, and then I found out when I was 12 during a very ugly divorce with my parents that I was actually not my father's daughter.
Wow. Yeah.
And so everything my brother had said, everything my when I was younger, like he knew my whole life. My sister knew my whole life.
Oh, really? So they knew that their dad wasn't really.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was just like that's just such a strange age when you're trying to figure out, really who you are, who your friends are. And now there's this huge family secret that explodes. And I remember coming home from court and calling my sister at work and telling her, "He's not my dad." And her response, still to this day, just it hurts. She said, "Oh, they finally told you?" And
Wow.
I just was like, I don't know, I can't trust I didn't trust anybody. I didn't trust and that set a precedent my entire teenage and a beginning of my adulthood. I didn't wanna be in my family's life. I wanted to separate as much as I could, and I ended up separating at 13. I was a freshman in high school. The year was ending, and a couple of my friends were going away to, University of Reno. They had gotten a place in Carson City, and I ended up leaving and hitchhiking and not coming back.
Yeah. You know, it was interesting because I myself have always growing up, I've always felt misplaced
Mm,
within my family because I was, I was different. I gravitated more towards things that I felt was positive and that was going to better my future. I grew up in a family that was a lot of pretty much alcoholics, drug addicts, and game bangers. What you see on TV is literally how I grew up,
right.
and family members were out there gang banging and living a street life, and so that never really appealed to me. Now I will be honest with you, because it was my environment, the culture I grew up in, I was always around it, but I still would gravitate towards school, to have that positive piece in my life. And everybody dropped out of high school, grade school, and I just, for some reason, I stayed in school. But when I got out of school, I would still come home and see family members doing their thing, and I may see guns and drugs, and which never set well with me. And they always looked at me like I was different anyway, because it's like, who got time to go to school? Like, who got time to think about something positive and its
Mhm.
improvement? That's all they knew. So for those people like myself that was in the environment, if they even thought about leaving Chicago or getting out the environment, you were looked at as someone that was looked down upon, just to be totally transparent with you.
Right.
And so I understand that, that feeling, because that's just what it was. And even today, um, people lives are definitely different than the way I'm living my life, for sure.
Well, I feel like the biggest change for me was I went from I mean, on the outside, I had an amazing family,
Yeah.
we had this beautiful large home with property and,
Wow.
my brother played high school football and my sister was in the choir and when they both went on to do big things in life. And when I left, even though being a part of selling drugs and doing all that was not ever a part of my life,
Yeah.
it was a way of survival.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was 13, sleeping on the couch at a friend's house. They already had 5 other people in a three-bedroom house, and it was, "You can stay, but you have to help provide for us. Like,
Right.
you have to pay your way." And
Yeah.
and
Wow.
that's when I mean, I never had a job or thought about how to boil water or
Yeah.
really wash my own laundry or anything
Yeah.
because those were all handled for me at home. So I really it was a rude awakening, but at the same time, um, I had a group of people that surrounded me, thank God, that wanted me to succeed. And
Right.
pretty much, this was in the 90s, and so it was different. When you enroll somebody in school, you didn't need, all these identifications and all these.
Right.
So one of their things was like, you can stay, but you have to finish high school.
Okay. Wow.
And so here I was like going to school during the day at Carson High, and they had just built a new Sonic drive-in. And so I became one of their top car hops, and I would do that for money. And then I was, doing whatever was possible at night to make extra cash, going
Right.
home, doing homework, and then going back to school. And I was fortunate. Because you hear about these things now, and kids go missing, and all these
Yeah.
horrific things. And by the grace of God, I was protected, and I finished high school. Um, I was doing all the right things, but I had to learn how to survive at 13.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and being a mother with kids that are in their early 20s, it blows my mind. Like, I can't imagine because
Yeah.
I see where they were at 13, and
Yeah.
and still to this day, and I'm like, I still have 2 that live at home, and I wonder I'm concerned if they're ever gonna move out, how they're
Yeah.
gonna survive.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I had to grow up so fast,
Yeah.
and, um, I wasn't involved in church, although growing up, we were Episcopalian and Catholic, so we were very involved in church. I went to a Catholic school, um, so I was very involved, so I knew I had faith in my life,
Yeah.
but for a long time, I turned my back because I was just like, how could somebody let somebody go through this?
Yeah. Man. So when you left, so I'm assuming that, excuse me, the news of your, I'm gonna say father at the time, when you found out that he was your biological dad, did that traumatize you?
Um, so there would have been I can see there was no apparent factors of that showing as a child. I was his baby girl.
Yeah.
So and I still carry his last name.
Okay.
Um, and the reason why I found out was because he was fighting for custody of me in court, and it was just getting dicey on the backside. I don't know all the details, and really frankly, I don't care
Yeah.
because what I know is he kept showing up. He kept showing like he wanted to be present. And when it came I was gone from 13 to 18. And a little bit closer to my 16th birthday, I actually called him, because
Yeah.
everybody still had home phones. So I called him, just told him no, I was okay.
Yeah.
And he was sending me, $60 here. He's the only one that knew where I was, but he
Okay.
knew that if I came back, it wouldn't be productive for me.
Yeah.
So he still, all the way up until he passed, in 2012, I was still his baby.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and and that's rare. It's very rare, and I've had a very fortunate like, I couldn't have asked for a better dad.
Yeah.
I have done, like, Ancestry, and I did it, and then I thought, "What? I don't even care that I would want to know." Like,
Yeah.
maybe to over the years, I've looked at it and I'm like, "Oh, look, that person has my nose.
Yeah.
Oh, that person has my face shape.
Yeah.
Okay, this is making," but I don't know that I would ever reach out if that paternal marker was ever filled. I don't know that I would wanna know
Yeah. Yeah.
because if you how do you just walk I this is it's hard for me. How do you walk away from a child?
Yeah. 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 I get it. I actually know someone who had a very similar experience. They were told that a particular individual, was their dad. And one day they found out, and I think they were maybe probably about 14 or 15. and they had so much resentment towards their mom. They also end up leaving and moving to another state. And it took a while before them to forgive the mother, to rebuild their relationship, and so
Mhm.
forth. And this individual, quite interesting, is also considered an outcast within the siblings.
Yep.
And it really bothered this individual a lot, and didn't understand why the mom wasn't transparent at first, and even to this day, uh the mother is still saying that the I'm just gonna say the stepfather is the biological father to this day.
Mhm.
And that's hard, the family
So
secrets.
and and yes, the family secret, man. So for a long time, I felt I was ashamed. Like I was the secret.
Right.
I
Yeah.
was. She had. I mean, my dad had had enough. Like enough of the lies, enough of the
Yeah.
resentment, enough of you treating me this way when I'm literally doing everything to be the best man I can when you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was her dirty secret.
Yeah.
And she held
Yeah.
it against me for so long, even well into being an adult. There was a time in my about 15 years ago when I left the military and I was struggling to get on my feet, and she got guardianship of my kids.
Mhm.
And my stepdad at that time, he was a great man as well, and loved my kids very much, and so I was okay with it. But then she took me to court to take my kids away and told me I was an unfit mother, and I had been an unfit human my whole
Wow.
life. And I fought for 3 years. I I actually took paralegal classes, and I fought in Nevada County, showed represented myself
Wow.
until the till everything was dropped. And then we didn't speak for 10 years, and not until just recently, about 2001 is when it was right around when COVID started. I just was like, I cannot. I was just angry. I was angry at so many things, so many broken relationships in my life, so many misunderstood communications because I wasn't communicating correctly, or maybe I wasn't articulating my feelings.
Yeah.
I was being more shoddy instead of like, this is how I really feel, but I just wanted you to feel my pain too.
Yeah.
Um, and so in 2001 to 2021, I started taking classes like online, how to work through your emotions. I started reading a lot, and that's when I started communicating with my sister better, with my mom, and my mom and I have a relationship now, one that we've never even been close to obtaining.
Yeah.
Um, and she values my opinion, but I've also had to tell her, "You can't speak to me like that.
Right.
You don't hold that key anymore. You don't hold that power over me. We're on flat ground here.
Yeah.
I have done everything in my power to survive, and that's what it was. I was in a consistent state of
Hmm.
survival
Yeah.
from a young age,
Yes. Yes.
knowing that I didn't fit in, knowing that there was something I just couldn't figure out what it was, but I was the issue. I was the
Hmm.
secret. I
Hmm.
was the reason they were fighting behind closed doors. I was the reason they were separating. And it was much later that when I started to put this all together, that I had to forgive myself. I had to
Yeah.
forgive my mom, and I had to figure out how to let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it was hard. It was really hard. All why homeschooling 3 kids during COVID, 3 high schoolers, and working 2 full-time jobs, like, I had had enough. I was literally exhausted,
Yeah.
drained every minute that I was awake, and I knew I shouldn't have felt like this, and I was angry at everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I could definitely relate to a lot of what you're saying too, because at the age of 11 years old, my mom, she did put me out. And I never understood why at that time. I later found out when, I started to do my own healing, that I'm the oldest boy by my dad. and there was a lot of domestic violence from my dad towards my mom,
Mhm.
and coupled with the drinking and things like that, her judgment was impaired, and she took a lot of stuff out on me. My mom has 6 kids, and none of them went through what I went through with her, hands down for sure.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
always felt like I was adopted, and when she would, kind of discipline us. It was overly disciplining me. Nobody got it the way I got it. And I never understood. But also, I remember my mom telling me too, she was saying to me, like, when I was younger, I was different. And because we grew up poor, rats and roaches, and we all had to sleep in one bedroom. And, she was saying to me, like, you was the only one of my kids that would never sleep because I didn't like rats and roaches. I just,
Mhm.
they would go to sleep comfortable, and I'm swatting roaches off them and throwing shoes at rats. And she talked about that. And and I told her, I said, Mom, I always knew for myself that I wanted to have a better life. Even as
Mhm.
a young kid, I didn't want to grow up as an adult and have to come home and have that. And not that I was judging her situation. And I think that also played a part in that because I was in survival mode all my life based off the things I was going through in my community, going through in my
Mhm.
household. I ended up, when I did go to college, I ended up joining a fraternity because I wanted that family community, which that went south. It was just looking for that love and that support,
Mhm.
at such a young age and stuff. And I didn't know that I was affected by that mentally later on into my adulthood, even with different relationships. I didn't know how to have a healthy relationship because all the
Right.
trauma that I had experienced, and it was hard.
And I agree. Like, you look for people that you're trying to fill this cup, but yet
Right.
at that age, you don't know what needs to be filling that cup. You just know
Yeah.
that these people make you feel better. And even though I was going to school and I was doing the right things, I was not doing the right things. I was addicted to cocaine at
Yeah.
15. I was selling drugs. I
Yeah.
was doing whatever necessary to
Yeah.
survive,
Yes.
but I was raised to always have this appearance.
Right. Hmm.
You always, your hair is always to be brushed, you're always to
Yeah.
be on point, your clothes
Yeah.
need to be cleaned and looked right. You always
Yeah.
had to present. Everything in life was a presentation.
Yes.
And so I did all that. I mean, I was an
Yeah.
honor roll student, a 13-year-old runaway and an honor roll student through high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
It came at a lot of sacrifice. And so when I ended up in the military, so I got in trouble at 17 and I was facing criminal charges as an adult because I was
Yeah.
within 30 days of my 18th birthday.
Yeah.
And 9/11 had just happened. And so they offered me a deferment into the military because I
Okay.
had never been in legal trouble.
Yeah.
I had never I had this the DA really fought for me. He said, "Look, she's provided for herself for 5 years. She's doing the right thing. This is a product of her environment. At this point,
Right.
she's doing what she has to survive. Would she be
Right.
doing this in 2 years if she got, because my goal was to go to school in Texas, and so would she be doing this in 2 years if she had been supported a loving, supported house?" So, they let me go into the military, and it was the camaraderie, um, the consistent challenge. Uh, my drill sergeant, to this day, we still communicate. He I mean, I was a smart ass. I
Mm.
came off that bus thinking, I've been raising myself. These people don't know anything
Yeah.
about what I
Mhm.
know. And he ripped me down.
Yeah.
It took him 3 weeks to just tear me, tear at me, tear at me. And when I told him, he said, "Who's coming to your graduation?" And I was like, "I didn't invite my family. They're not going to come." And so he had his wife and his son show up for my graduation. and I just found a family.
Yeah.
For the first time, no matter how much I talked back, no matter how late I was, they wanted to right my wrongs and they wanted to make me a better human.
Yeah.
And so I was in basic training for 9 weeks, and it was the worst yet best experience of my life to this
Hmm.
day, hands down. I'm still not a fan of camping, but that all came from, like, my deployments and all that kind of stuff. But I just that portion of my life and my military career after that, it really made me feel like this was my purpose.
Yeah.
Forget everything, forget all, and it was easy for me to be like, and I left. I was in Texas, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and then I went to Germany for 6 years, and I just was life was so good. It was so good.
Yeah. Wow. Did your mom, so when you ran away initially, did your mom, do you feel like she was concerned? Did she come looking for you? Did she try to reach out? Really?
So, about 8 years ago, my sister made a comment about we were all just talking, having a
Mm.
good time, and she was like, Yeah, you should be in therapy." And I said, "Oh, I absolutely should be in therapy for my childhood. That hands down." And she's like, I'm in therapy over your childhood." And I'm like, What?" Like, you talk about my childhood with your therapist." And she said, "Yeah, like, I don't understand why nobody ever reported you missing.
Right.
Nobody nobody ever looked for you." And mind you, this is 97, and the Amber Alerts weren't out, like, all that stuff, but nothing. They just
Yeah.
assumed that I would be back.
Yeah. Wow.
And it just blows my mind, with all the tracking devices I have on my kids and all
Yeah.
when they leave, I wanna know where you're going, when you're gonna be back, who you're gonna be
Yeah.
with, how and I know how fast you're driving, and I know because I
Yeah.
have it all right at my hand, and it blows my mind. It
Yeah.
that nothing, not a missing persons report, not a phone call to the police station, nothing.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. Like I said, we got a very similar stories because when I graduated from grade school and high school, nobody came.
Mhm.
Nobody came. Not one soul. But when my sisters them, when my sister graduated from eighth grade, high school, it was a big party, balloons and celebration. And honestly, Ashley, all I wanted to do, because my dad was never in the picture, all I wanted to do was please my mom. I wanted my mom to be proud of me. That's all I ever wanted, despite of all the things that was going on or how she was treating me. But what I realized though, when I look back then when all those things was going on, the things that she was doing to me, the lack of love, the lack of support and attention, those things actually end up being fuel for my fire. That those things
Yeah.
made me want to survive more, so that I want be like that, in a
Mhm.
sense. So I won't be like my environment. I won't be like my sisters and brothers and uncles and for some reason it's like the more she would do unloving things to me or say unloving things to me, it was just on the inside. I just was very tenacious to
Mhm.
go to school and get good grades and straight A's. And I don't know. I just analyzed that way because I knew at the time, like, once I get out of school and the bell ring, I knew what I was going home back to,
Yep.
you know, and it was not a loving or caring environment. And so yeah, we're gonna so we're running out of time. We're gonna end this
Okay.
30 minutes, then we're gonna jump back in because
Okay.
I'm really enjoying this conversation with you.
Yes.
I'm learning a lot about you, and it's definitely hitting home with me. So that's it for this edition of Mental Health Matters. If you enjoyed this show, if you would like a DVD copy of this show, or if you would like to be a guest on our show, please dial 916 366 4600. Thank you.